Hey everyone. So I just want to say, first of all, thank you for being here today. This shows that you are looking to find the way to make this work for you, and that is amazing. So I want to share with you today a little bit about what I believe is the secret sauce that helped to take my business to the next level. I'm going to talk to you about maximizing your time to allow yourself success, no matter what you are. If you're a full-time worker, if you are a stay-at-home parent, whatever it is for you. So I'm going to share you my tips about the phases of this. I broke it down into 3 phases, phase 1, 2, and 3. So phase 1 is building this business alongside your full-time job. Now, I do want to let you know that what you're going to notice as I go through here is they're not tips that I can just give you, do this, do that, do this. I'm sharing with you my journey and what worked for me, because when I was asked to present on this, I really tried to sit down and just give the black and white bullet points. But I realized that in every phase, you have struggles. In every phase, you still have to figure it out. And in every phase, there's just one thing that's different, and it is the amount of time you're going to allow yourself. It's you carving out that time. It's you giving yourself the opportunity. And when you're working from home, you have the ability to give yourself more opportunity. And that's the difference. But this is going to be tips on what I did going through the business, and then hopefully you can take from this what it is. So phase 1 is building along your full-time job. Now, those of you that are starting this and you're part-time or you're at home, it doesn't mean that you have to start at a full-time job, but this is just, you can take these tips as what they are for you as well. I called this first phase survival mode, and the reason is because that you're either going to do it or you're not. You're going to survive or you're going to fail. And the first few months before I entered this phase, I had a newborn, and I did find it easy to find the time. I could stay up with the business. I stayed consistent by running monthly accountability groups no matter what. I consistently shared what I was doing with everyone, and I was fearless. I just knew I had to go for it, and it was fine. I was honest, relatable, and I just did my best each and every day. Upon returning to work 6 months in, I fell off. I had to do some major soul searching. I had no idea how to manage my time, is what it came down to. I had no idea what to do. I was a scroller, which you do not want to be. I gave up, and it was this exact event 2 years ago that finally changed everything for me. So where did I find the fuel? I had to find the fuel in my why. We talk about why, right? We tell you to connect with your why, but are you really connected mind, body, and soul to your why? You need to be. For me, I needed lunch dates with that squishy little faced boy. I needed family time. I needed to always be here. I needed holidays. I was a full-time hairstylist. I worked weekends. I missed Christmases. Everyone could be there but me, and it hurt. I missed my dad's graduation. I needed happiness with my husband and I, less stress, and I needed to give my family, my 2 stepsons and my son, a life that they deserved. Your why has to be bigger than your excuses, bigger than any scary post, bigger than any invite or objection. And this is step 1, your why being these things. With that, plus all the tips that I have for you on maximizing your time, you will be unstoppable if you choose to be. Belief plus maximizing your time is what I believe equals success. So become a master of creating your own opportunity. Do everything in your day with intention. You need to be intentional when you're working your business, when you're at work, when you're with your family, when you're playing with your friends, and your kids, when you're out with your friends, when you're cleaning your house, and when you're working out. These pictures make me laugh, and this is what comes to my head. But it's like when you're intentional with what you're doing, then this top picture is your brain. And when you're not intentional with what you're doing, then this bottom picture is your brain on drugs. Because when you're not intentional with what you're doing, you're scatterbrained. You're all over the place. You're focusing on 5 different things. And guess what? Everything's going to crash down on you. And a toddler will prove it. So maximizing your time, and these are tips for the full-time worker, but know that all of you can use these tips. This is just what got me through this time as a full-time working business owner. So you have to be intentional while you're working the business. You need to first pick out a day each week that you are going to plan out the week ahead. You need to write everything down. Your schedule, when you work out, any appointments you have, work, play dates, your spouse's schedule, your kids' schedule, sports, all of that, family time, and your friends and your family and your other schedule, parties that you might have, and all of that. After you do that, you need to find time where you can carve out 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there to work your business. Then if you realize that you need a little bit more, maybe you need to get up a little earlier that day. You need to plan this out with writing your wake up time and your bedtime. You might need to inch one of those forward or back. Be open to that. You need to fill in your work hours or minutes, and you need to be realistic. Forgive me on this slide, I couldn't straighten it out and I just was done with it. But these are just examples of what your day might look like and where you can carve out time for the business. So I'll go ahead and just read the second one, but you guys can screenshot this or just read it yourselves. So from 6 to 8, get up, work, and work out. 8 to 11:30, time with Owen. 11:30, lunch. 12:30 to 2:30, nap, where I power hour and do house duties. 2:30 to 3, snack. 3:30 to 4:30, hubby's home, where his workout, shower, me and Owen time. 4:30 to 5:30, family time. 5:30 to 6:30, prepare and eat dinner. 6:30 to 8, family time. 8 to 9, bedtime. 9 to 9:30, work. 9:30 to 10:30, us time. 10:30, bed. Right? So you can see that I wrote everything in there. And some people might think I'm a little crazy for scheduling it all. I think you're crazy if you're not, because if you don't get your brain on paper, then you are not going to be organized in your business or your life. So you need to be consistent and intentional with your time. You need to run it like a business, not a hobby. You need to not only list when you will work the business, but also what you will do in those times. So here's another example. From 6 to 6:30, I'm going to be up, I'm going to get coffee, and I'm going to get cozy. Not too cozy, because I like to sleep. From 6:30 to 7:30, I'm going to check emails, my online office, I'm going to do a post, I'm going to take my inbox to 0. From 7:30 to 8:30, I'm going to work out, and then I'm going to shower. And then my son's up. And I don't look at anything with the business again until 1 o'clock. At that point, I will post. I will do 10 outgoing messages, 5 ads, 5 invites, all my follow-ups, and then post in my team page and check in with challengers, and then any calls that I need to do. At 6 o'clock, I will only post. And at 9:30, I will post, take my inbox to 0, and read my personal development. After you carve out your time and you figure out the slots of time you'll be working the business, you might say, well, how do I know what I'm going to do in that time? You're going to work from a business activity tracker. You saw this in the online office. You've seen probably many versions of it. For me, the one that I used in the beginning was this power of 3. So it was just 3 of everything. Really easy to remember when you're working and you're just go, go, go. 3 of this, 3 of that. This is another version, the Dream Extreme version that you may have seen. So basically it's just working from top to bottom and tracking. You need to be tracking. If you're not tracking, you're missing out on huge opportunities. So you're working from top to bottom. You're not all over the place. So in the first 10 minutes that I work the business, I'm working from the top and I'm going down. And if I'm done at 10 minutes, I'm done. But I'm not going to come back and jump down to the bottom and, do an invite and then jump back up to the top. I'm going to consistently go down this page because then I feel in control. How are you going to track? For me, I'm not a track on paper person. I followed those power of 3s, but it was hard. I couldn't fill it out and carry the piece of paper around with me. So I track from my phone. Now these numbers are what I use now, but it's just an example of what I do. I use the reminders app in my phone. I have an iPhone, and these are the different things that I do every single day. Now, when I was working full time, I didn't do all these things. I only did outgoing, new contacts, invites, have you ever considered, follow-ups, personal development, track, online office, and the push group and accountability groups and my posts. The rest of it, I kind of just did when I could, if I even thought of it. So that's what I do in my day, and I work from the top of the list to the bottom. I don't jump around. My first 10 invites, when I'm done, I just put that in there, or my outgoing, I just hit it so that it says that I'm done. If it's someone that You know, if I want to keep track of it, I'll put their names there, kind of like new contacts. I'll always just put their name there. Have you ever considered? Put their name there. Follow-ups, put them in there. You have it so that you have it at all times with you. Extras that you want to do, webinars that you want to remember to watch, everything. So put that in your phone, figure out this tracking system that works for you. And working from a list, right? How many of you are working from a list? I know that I didn't work from a list in the beginning. And I know Christina always told me if you don't have a business list, you don't have a business. But I didn't work from a list, but I created a list as I went. So I still had a business. So where did I get this from? Quality and value adding posts. So I shared my struggles. I shared everything. I got really raw with people. And then anyone that liked, commented, or messaged me, those are the people I worked with that day. They helped me to create my list. The key, just remember, is to find a way to track it. So these are examples of posts that I might use to draw people out. They're not on health and fitness. They are, you know, just really raw posts about me and my struggles and what I'm going through and my thoughts. And I just get deep. And then people who like and comment, I would use those people as the people that I would send a personal message to, not comment below on, and just chat with them and build that relationship and warm them up to me and who I am. But it doesn't mean I was looking to invite them to anything. This is me warming up my market. I look at my outgoing messages as warming up people only. My schedule working full time looked like this. I worked out. On my work days, I would post, work out, do my 5 outgoing messages in the morning, and then personal development on the way to work. My first break, I would add 2 new contacts. My lunch, I would post, do follow-ups, and have 2 invites. And then my last break, I would do follow-ups. I made sure to not, when I did my first break, if I added my new 2 contacts, then I took my break, right? You can't run yourself into the ground. So respect yourself and give yourself some balance too. After work, I would do one-on-one calls with my coaches or a team call on the way home. I would, after Owen's bedtime, I'd take my inbox to 0 and do 1 final post, and then I would read before bed. And on my days off, it looked pretty similar. I would post 5 outgoing in the morning, in the afternoon, work out, post 2 new contacts, and do 2 invites during nap time. And then after Owen's bedtime, take my inbox to 0 and read my personal development. Sundays were the day that made it for me. This was my extra day. So I would create and Hootsuite my groups. I would personal message challengers or post a video in the challenge group. This was a game changer because it kept my face in front of them, which gave me more opportunity to invite to the business and build stronger relationships. And I would email my new customers. So remember, intention in all tasks is key, even in your posting. So I already talked about quality posting. I'm going to talk about it again because it's super important. What is a quality post? It's not just being a cheerleader. It's sharing that you're human. It's showcasing what makes you different. It's sharing something valuable to help show others that you are a leader. And it's strategically posting before your upcoming events to get people ready for when you do a call to action or the personal invites you'll be sending out. So challenge groups, sneak peeks, new coach groups, etc. Whatever's the next event that I'm going to be inviting for, because you should always be inviting for something, then I'm making posts about that without calls to action, but just making posts about those to show people what it is like. And then, when I do give my call to action posts, there's people that I maybe already answered a lot of their questions. And so they're ready to comment, like, or message me. And then following up with them, people that, I would follow up with would just be as simple as this. Hey, Courtney, thanks for liking my transformation post the other day. Those are tough to post sometimes, so I appreciate the pat on the back. Did you want information on the group starting February 1st? I just wanted to double check, as sometimes people like and are interested in joining. Other times they're just merely giving some love. Hope all is well. Happy Friday. And then these would be the examples of the posts that would allow people to see. So in Opportunity Corner, this was a call out. I did have a call to action here, but I shared a lot of my struggles with the body image and everything. And there were a ton of people that I was able to reach out to from here. And then, just this one that would lead up to a group. You can't out-train a poor diet. Just explaining to them, having a confession, telling them what's going on. And then, the accountability portion, what it does for me. So this would be something that these would grab people's attention. It would share something with them and warm them up to either joining on the one I did the call to action for, or joining in the future when the next call to action comes. So full-time worker in summary would be connecting to your why and hanging on tight. This is your driving force. Being intentional with your time, being consistent. Sporadic work equals sporadic business. Schedule your hours around everything else and carve out time. Break those times down further into exactly what you will accomplish. Laser focus on those times. Develop your system for tracking. Be raw, real, open, honest, and heartfelt in your posts. Work with the people that give that post activity, and strategically post to warm your market up before each event. Maximizing your time. Phase 2, tips for the part-time worker. So motto for this time frame for me was do it before you're ready. When I went part-time, I realized now's my opportunity to make this bigger. I reevaluated my schedules exactly as before. I made sure I was doing everything with intention still, and I increased my productivity. Part-time activity, you want to act like you're at your goal. If your goal is to be a 15-star diamond, you need to act like a 15-star diamond. So you need to recruit like mad. I would run 2 challenge groups a month to make sure I hit Success Club, and I just invited like crazy. And I had twice the amount of people to connect with and twice the amount of people to look for green light moments. So what's a green light moment? A green light moment is when you see a challenger that's posting all the time and kind of acting like a coach themselves. A green light moment is that person who says they're loving Shakeology, they've never felt better. These are moments where you can reach out very non-invasive and give them an opportunity. So these are just a couple examples here of what I might send someone with a green light moment that I've seen. You need to up your activity, and you need to do what your leader is doing, hosting business opportunity calls, team calls, new coach groups, sneak peeks, etc. Part-time, 1 year in, this was my timeline of my business. You can see in that first few months, I averaged, maybe between, I don't know, it was like high and low, right? I had some 50s, I had some 170s. And then in that second time frame, I was pretty low again, right? But in January and February, you could see that's when I was pushing for diamond. That 574.70 week, that's when I pushed for diamond. That's when things changed. And then after that, you can see that just consistently stayed above 100 and kept growing from there in that first year. So consistency is key, and the compound effect is true. If you haven't read that book yet, you need to, because it does compound over time. Game changers for phase 2 growth was, for me, getting on the phone with my team consistently, developing a strong team culture, doing everything that you want your coaches to do and customers to be doing. So definitely leading by example, because they need to relate to you. Attend live events and summit. Never say no to an opportunity. And most importantly for me, the biggest game changer was hiring an assistant, which I wasn't ready for. She actually approached me, and I wasn't ready, but then I didn't want to lose being able to have her as my assistant because I trusted her, and I didn't want her to go find something else, so I just hired her, and I said, okay, let's do this. So 1 year in, 6 months in, I hired an assistant. Her starting tasks was emailing new customers, Hootsuiting and creating my groups, converting documents if needed, and creating content. This took me to the next level. That alongside with outsourcing at home. Outsourcing was huge to take me to the next level. At home, I had a cleaning service every 2 weeks. My husband, without me having to ask him, is extremely helpful, so that's just a bonus. He does a lot around the house, and it's amazing. Sharing your dreams with your family, get people on board that are around you and let them help you. And then this here led to reducing my hours again 2 years in. So what did that mean? That meant I had to reevaluate my schedule and my time again. So phase 3, maximizing your time, tips for working from home. First of all, you need to celebrate. Definitely, especially if you worked your butt off for it. So cheers, have some wine, we're all good. move forward. Then you want to buckle down, reevaluate your schedule. Again, reevaluate your outsourcing needs. Be realistic with your expectations. Stop running your business like a business and run it like a CEO. What does that mean? Well, when you run it like a hobby, you're going to get paid like a hobby. When you run it like a business, you're going to get paid like a business. When you run it like a CEO, you're going to get paid like a CEO. Okay, that's just what I believe. So run it like a CEO. Be on top of it. Be organized. You have the ability to carve out any time now. Even if you have kids, nap time, get up earlier, stay up later, whatever it is, this is all in your hands. Intention with everything you do becomes even more important because for me, being a mom, I'm pulled in so many different directions, right? I need to know that right now I'm at work. Even though I'm at home, I'm at work and the dishes can wait, the laundry can wait, I need to do this. So struggles that come with working from home, being too flexible. You need to set your hours. If you don't, you're not going to get everything done. You need to not go to bed until your power to-do list is done. And if you're flexible, you're going to be up really late, struggling to do everything really late. You need to be careful of getting off your sleep schedule and being all over the place with that, because then you're going to be all over the place with your business. And struggles from with working at home would be not being consistent, and also guilt. You have guilt when your spouse walks in and you're in the middle of doing something and you feel bad, but you have to remind yourself, I'm at work. They need to remember you're at work, right? Your kids, you're going to feel bad sometimes because you have to step away to go do a call with your team and it's 8 o'clock at night and this is winding down time and bath time and you want to do it with them. Well, guess what? It's one night and it's okay because you are paving an amazing life for them. It's okay. So the guilt though, it'll get you. It's time to reevaluate and reconnect with a deeper and new why, because if you didn't start this business being at home with your family or being at home and you were working outside of the house, then you reached your goal. And now it's time to reconnect with another one. So for me, I had to dig a little deeper. Of course, I want to help others create freedom in their lives because this has just been so huge for me. But I also want to bring my husband home from work. I also want even more financial freedom, not for the money aspect, but for the less stress that it's brought us. And I want to give my parents, more than anything, opportunities they've never had. So you want to set your goals and then you want to reverse engineer them. You need to know your goals and you need to write them down, have them broken down into daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, whatever your activity needs to be, figure it out. Up what you've been doing according to your goal. And then find a new platform to expand yourself. Is it Pinterest, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, blogging? And go for it. You need to reinvent yourself, make yourself more marketable, get your reach, to a larger market and really go for it. Delegate to your leaders. Ask for help. Don't do it alone because you're going to build them up when you're asking them to help you. You're not taking away from your leadership. You're building new leaders to create a stronger foundation. And then share your goals and your activity with your team because they need to know your goals, because they need to know it's okay to dream that big. And they need to know your activity because they need to see that that's what's possible. And if you're doing it, they're going to do it. It's amazing. I just am trying to be a morning person, and it's amazing how much, me just doing that in that week, it brought like 4 or 5 people from my team getting up earlier to work. And I'm like, wow, I didn't realize I was impacting that many people just by trying to change my schedule. But it showed them like, hey, if she can do this, like that's it. I need to do this. So it is important to share your goals and your activity with your team. So now that I stay at home, what's my schedule like? Well, I'm up 2 hours before Owen now, which would have never happened before. I get my inbox to zero, check my emails, my online office. If I'm able to, work out and post. If not, I work out with him. Nap time, I do my outgoing, contacts, invites, take my inbox to zero and post, dinner post, and then after Owen goes to bed, I do take my inbox to zero, check in with all my groups, post, and read. Sometimes during nap time I read too. It just kind of depends. There are a couple things that I flex with, but for the most part, this is what I stick to. The hard part with being at home is that you can't be flexible. You need to stick with your hours. But however, if it's in your control, but sometimes there's things that come in that are not in your control, like a skipped nap or an illness, or you need to help your husband because his car broke down or whatever it is. So you need to develop a flexible mindset, but you need to develop a strong work ethic. And you're going to do that with personal development. These are the books that I read after I retired that really helped me to move my business forward and to develop that flexible mindset, to be okay with what interferes with me. But if there's not an interference, to stay committed, and that no matter what, if there was an interference, to know that but I wouldn't stop working. I wouldn't go to bed until my to-do list was done for the day. So Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, Entre Leadership by Dave Ramsey, The Greatest Salesman in the World 1 and 2, those were really more like common sense, spiritual, just be a good person. I would highly recommend those. I loved those. And then I'm currently reading The Miracle Morning and The Miracle Morning for the Network Marketer. And it's really eye-opening, the things that you can achieve just by developing that time and carving out that time for yourself before anything happens in your day. And the rest of your day, you're just so flexible with your mindset and positive. So you need to understand that it doesn't always happen as planned, right? And this is what it could lead you to feeling like. That's why you need to develop that mindset. There are going to be days that you don't want to do it. But what you need to remember is that it used to be a dream and now it's your job. So just do it. It's your job. How I work the business now, I'm very strategic. So I work from a list. I actually split my screen on my computer. I'm able to do that. Before I could do that, I worked from my phone and my computer at the same time. And I sit down, and the first things I do is I do my 10 outgoing messages. So when I'm doing my outgoing messages, I'm going to have my Mac Daddy list open, and I'm going to have my Facebook open. Now, yes, my Mac Daddy list is color-coded. Yes, I have one now. I actually did like a Facebook like splurge, put everybody on there. And then I add to it the people I add every day, I add at the bottom. Not all the time, like once every 2 weeks, but I put them at the bottom. And then when I get to them, I get to them and they'll warm up to me and see who I am in the meantime. But I go through and I reach out to 10 people. And then I put that I checked in with them or I'm connecting with them. I go to their Facebook page. I see what they've been doing, who our mutual friends are, what they do, and I find a way to connect. So with this specific girl, I connected with her on that video of texting. I just said, I know a lot of people that do this. That makes me really sad. I appreciate you sharing it type thing. It doesn't matter to me if she messages me back or not, because now she sees my things on her newsfeed and now she's warmed up to me a little bit in some way. On my Mac Daddy list, this is what it says: first name, last name, how I know them, if they're a possible prospect for something or we've chatted about something, and then the dates I check in with them from then on out. I used to color code it, like I said. I don't anymore. I just get the people in there. The color coding doesn't even matter to me. Then I also track it physically. So I use the Go for No sheets that Allison created and shared last year, I believe it was. And I write my people on there that I invite. And I also got this idea from Tabitha. So thank you, Tabitha. But I put the people's names in, and then I circle them if they say yes, and I put an N on it if they say no. And if they don't answer, then I don't really do anything. But if whatever it is that I'm having a conversation with, or when I'm talking to people, the great thing about this is I have the whole entire year printed out. So if someone tells me, oh, I'm pregnant, but my baby's due next month, and when I'm clear in March, I'm for sure going to be looking for something, then I'm going to go and I'm going to write their name down in March or whatever, so that when I get to that month, I can see that I need to follow up with them. So this has really helped me as well. It's just easier than going and looking and trying to color code, and then, I don't keep all the invites in my phone all the time. Also, you need to implement a team schedule. Once you're at home, you need to have a team schedule, a consistent thing that you know what to expect, your customers know what to expect, your coaches know what to expect. So this is just an example of our team schedule. It has team calls on there when we run our sneak peek, when we run our new coach groups, and any other groups. And it just kind of gives them an idea of when they can run their stuff. Outsourcing, you still need to know that you cannot do it all, especially if you have kids. So for me, my husband is still amazingly helpful. He helps me to carve out times for calls, and we just had to reevaluate the understanding and needs between us. I have a cleaning crew, or I did. I don't anymore because we decided it wasn't necessary anymore, but if you have it in your budget or you feel like it's necessary, I absolutely say do this. But because Rob is so helpful, we don't really need the cleaning crew. Daycare, grandparents, or spouse, you need to give yourself 2 power days. You need to give yourself time to work your business without the distraction of anything else. And then you need to up your assistance activities. So what is a power day? A power day is 4 to 6 hours distraction free. And yes, you need this. You need this when you're in this time. You're going to work your power to-do list. You're going to create videos. You're going to build platforms. You're going to do one-on-one calls. You're going to stay connected with your team, which is very important. And you're going to create systems. You can't do that all the time in nap time. Your brain gets disrupted, right? Your doorbell rings, whatever. I like to have this day where I can, whether it's a nanny coming over, whether it's a grandparent watching him, whether it's my husband, whether I go to Starbucks, whatever it is, it's planned for the week and I do it, and I go and I knock out a whole bunch of stuff. So one thing is that one-on-one calls can take up a lot of your time. So you definitely want to stay connected with your team. So I have a call log and I put in there when I can talk with them, but I give them other ways to connect with me as well, and I encourage it. Like they can message me through Voxer anytime, and I have them sign up for 1 day a week that they will check in with me so that I always know what's going on, and it actually lessens the amount of calls we have to have one-on-one, because then we talk on the team calls twice a month, and then they're checking in with me once a week. So it really creates that strong bond with us. The assistant, I had Rachel. She's amazing. I had her do this. So monthly, she wrote down here what she does for me now, and then weekly, kind of what she does for me. So she does the things that I don't need to do, is basically what it is. And I do what I need to do because no one else can do it. And having her has been a game changer. I pay her $10 an hour. And then I just tell her what I need, and basically I pay her at the end of the month, because weekly it'd only be like $30 to $50 a week or so. And so I just pay her at the end of the month so that it's just one big chunk for her. She keeps track of it in Google Drive in an spreadsheet that she created that says Rachel's hours, and it says exactly what she did. So like, did she do something with Hootsuite, something in the Facebook, whatever, and she puts the hours next to there. And then I'm able to check it, have her double check it, and pay her from that. So with all this information that I just shared with you, I just wanted to share with you the growth that each thing gave me. So when I went part-time, this was my average paycheck here. It was about $400. In that next year, with all the things I told you that I implemented, you can see that my average was about $1,100-1,200, and then I had that one really high week there. And then when I retired in September, my average was more around $1,800. So if you're consistent and you implement these things, they're only going to help you grow. So a work from home summary: you need to be more disciplined with your work hours, delegate and outsource to help you grow, create systems, build platforms, schedule 2 power days a week, work from a list for sure, foolproof your tracking system, and implement a team schedule. It all comes down to creating your own opportunity. We all have 24 hours in a day. We all have family priorities. We all have early mornings. We all have late nights. We all have tough days, tough moments, whatever it is. But everything in your life is a reflection of a choice you have made. And if you want a different result, then you have to make a different choice. And you have to choose to not see excuses. You just have to go with it. Whether working full-time or working from home, it doesn't really matter. The decision is still, that's what it is. It's a decision. You have to decide to succeed. You have to decide to do the work and be consistent. You have to decide to only see the positive. You have to decide to learn from all the obstacles and leave them in the past. You have to decide to grow, and you have to decide to get out of your own way. So I'm going to leave you with this. Decide today. You are the only one that will lead yourself to failure or success, no one else. I always look at this picture because for me, I'm not always in my comfort zone. I've learned that when I stay there, I become complacent. So outside of your comfort zone is where the magic happens. I save this, I look at it, and I remind myself daily that if I want to be who I want to be as a leader, a mother, a wife, a friend, a daughter, then I need to step out of my comfort zone and I need to continue growing myself. I hope that these tips helped you. I hope that you take away a lot from this. And if you have any questions or comments or concerns, please don't hesitate to message me, let me know, and I can answer anything that you have that you're wondering or you need some more explanation on. Thanks.